Alright, I'm Simjen Tamjiki Donalia, and Jishanlia, Digi Tubiata, Dunga, Seekida, the Sevalia, and the Chik Pandochi, Tablam Yasho, the Carisne, that's San Diego Toya de Res, that's San Diego Tovaina, and Simjiki, Dunga said, and Digi Tubia, Tuda Namba Conto, and Shanlia Pampa Geshe to word it. Is that San Diego Toya? San Diego Tobala, and a Ganes Toburilana, isn't that? And the Lam Yamne, Janju Sim Yamne, Janju Sim Simbitone, and the Passion Druin Yamne Chevala Dene, and the San Yoko Topu Wore Ejerva. And the Janju Sim Yamne Chevala, Janju Sim Gule Kihu Wore, the Janju Sim Gela, and the Tablam Canis Kumbures, and the Jamniji Comje, and the Janju Sim Gule Kiores, Janju Sim Geki, Tablam de la Jamniji Kumbures, the Jamniji Comnan Gomadra, and another Jamba, the Niji Comia de la Dati. To be at the and the chicken Manga Dunje and did Nijicom Najina, Dashanyam Jicone, Nijicom Judushin to Tani, but another day Dashanyam Jicone and the Jinja Sem Yamneje, Nijicomia to be at that deed and the Jessim Yamneje, Digor Mashu Gorwa.
Good evening. With a wish to help all sentient beings attain a state freed from suffering, a state of lasting happiness, we need to become the most skilled of guides, a fully enlightened Buddha. Because when one arises as a perfected being, one can perfectly guide others to achieve such a state. Due to one's own perfected wisdom, one can perfectly guide others. So how does one become a Buddha? Well, the indispensable cause is to generate bodhicitta. And having generated bodhicitta, one then engages in the various activities of a bodhisattva. And these are usually summarized as the 6 perfections. So bodhicitta is the indispensable cause for Buddhahood. How does one generate bodhicitta? Well, bodhicitta comes from great love and great compassion. And these are cultivated in turn through 2 techniques. The one is the 6 cause and 1 effect method, and the other, that of equalizing and exchanging self with others. And this method is what we've been looking at for the last month or so.
Digi and Shangwando Songje, and Shanley Jebatsin Big Jebig, some not Kimatuare, Chisan Shan Jebatsin, some not Kimatu, and the Shanlia, Mipiki, and Jamzeta, Jambata Zevati, Kimatubari, and the ranches in some Lotiki Gore, as you can see, Korsugar Oxida.
In order to generate love and compassion, we've been looking in this practice where we need to first recognize the role that grasping at oneself as dear, or the self-cherishing mind, plays in our life, come to see all the tremendous faults that follow from remaining under the influence of the self-centered attitude. And accompanying this, we also looked at the need to look at the contrary mind, the other cherishing attitude, and how to cultivate holding others as dear, how to have the welfare, the benefit of others first and foremost. So one starts by looking at the faults of grasping at oneself as dear and the tremendous benefits of holding others dear.
And then ranching some do that the Yabu Mendosipite, Delia Panaki, Titor, Mevasaki, Dupali to race. That Shan Jebats in big some of the Yunden part Tonje, and the Yunden part Karkarungu, but the Yunden Yabu Tomana, then the Yunde Yabu Tonsona, and the Shan Jebats in Melody, Yamnachi, Dunya Dupali race. The Zada kissing money, the Kasur. Ranching some not Shan Jebats Melody, Yunda, Yunde, and Magic Dinekishu. and that on the Dortuna and Tubas on your Gemnendigi, the Dang on Nilia, but Davina, San Yujumne de, she and Jeba Zimbig, chasing some of the Yamin Chapa Latin and the San Yoko Tobare, then also that about to do slaughter body. And the round chasing some of Ganga Daje, Shen chasing some of Yamlet Damatuba Tene, and the Koala Havares, Chisanda round chasing that Shen chasing Guna Yundiki Tires, kissing on the Diokorea Shusavarva.
In the 91st verse, we looked there at the many faults of grasping at oneself as dear. And this is indispensable because only in independence, to the extent that one sees the harm that grasping at oneself as dear brings to oneself, will we develop a determination, a self-discipline of sufficient strength to abandon this attitude that pervades almost every action that we've engaged in. And then this 91st verse was followed with the 92nd, in which is a companion meditation where you look at the tremendous benefits of cultivating the grasping or holding others as dear. For the same reasons we need to look at this in detail, because again, it's only through seeing here the great benefits of holding others as dear that we will have sufficient determination or self-discipline to ensure that we hold the welfare or the benefit of others first and foremost in every activity. This was followed then last week where we looked at the 93rd verse. And in the 93rd verse, we compared our current situation to that of beings who were once ordinary like ourselves, but who, having heard teachings similar to these, applied themselves vigorously, and through training and developing themselves over countless lifetimes, they have arisen as Buddhas. But over that same period of time, where they were cultivating love and compassion and eventually entering the bodhisattva paths, progressing to the perfected state of Buddhahood, we have remained lost in the suffering realms of samsara.
Rani chizin guba kunyu ko manam chizin yunden kunyi shi dechiri dashen jiwe na jola nyamne nibo chebar chingi lobsedim.
Turning to the 94th verse, please bless me to make my core practice the yoga of exchange of self for others, since cherishing myself is the doorway to all torment, while cherishing my mothers the foundation for all that is good.
Dia jibare dagan kasan shuba na jire jesa rangchi sengi loti ki gyuen de yungore sa da shen chepa simbo loti ki gyuen de ni de shigorwa jesa da rangni chi sengu ba kunyu ko se de rang chepa simbo loti nga zo gyuen tamje che de da an jewa chima an jige koryu dunga nyoa chasangi da yonsai ko godire es ko ma rangchi sen samlo dele de ligore es Rahi chasing guba ladder, Tanga to give no more but by Nanga to give Gangana Hune and go to Bunyo Hashak, my Joro Chador, Chasam Guba, so Rani Kiawama Nyamje, and then Mansola Jade and Settle in ere, Chasan Ganga Yosaki, she saw the garson ranches in some little Yungore, Chasan Ran Gosade, Kampal Masana, Yajuse Goroviti. And the Dunga Ganga Yosa Chazanda, ranches in Telezawa, ranches in Teletin Yungore.
Having reflected on these previous three verses, you'll see now that this fourth verse follows seamlessly on. So the first line in the Tibetan is our third line, which highlights what we looked at in the 91st verse, the tremendous faults of grasping at oneself as dear. Because it's this attitude of placing, of the self-centered attitude, placing ourselves first and foremost, that is the doorway to all torment, all suffering, all decline.
주바 랑치신 세대 빼는 아주 가 세베 삼랑아 주길라기디나 가 세베 삼로 쇼로와다 디아는 가 세베 가 라신 주발스 지키 나와 나신 가 라신 주바 텔라 미네 제바 짐바이나 디가 라신 주바 템바 지게 덴진디 차로고로와 제사 디네자 텔레 테네 가 주게 디 체딜레 삼다베네 체딜이야 안지랑 지진 삼다요 코라라야다 안젤리야 너베기야다 안도시네 지디안 체딜이네 소소 안지게 마기바다 라신이가라 마기바 강하용고레야다 지나다 체딜라 랑지진 이디 원게 삼로 원게 콘로게야도 콘로게 되샤게도 디기 원게 아주게 现在这做不来的，现在呢是所觉结巴了，说把它的那个现在策划这样的两岸把啥。你给建议呢？这部的毛把那说，俺说了怕给我连接呢，东岸用过来噻，去当然东岸刚刚的都是用过来噻的，这送过了哇。
Just before I come to Ganda's commentary, the word we have translated as torment is more usually the word for decline or deteriorate, although, as Ganda said in the previous segment, it would include the meaning of suffering. So I say that because we'll see the link now in this segment. So to Ganda's commentary then. So here in the first line of the Tibetan, our third line, we're looking at the faults of grasping at oneself as dear, which, as we looked at a few weeks ago, is the self-grasping attitude, this ignorance of self-grasping, that grasps at the self as existing in the way that it appears. And the faults that follow from this, we will have been reflecting on. So to take some of those that follow just from this life's perspective, from this ignorance of grasping at oneself as existing by way of its own nature, our afflictions come. We see ourselves as different from others, separate from others, and thereby there will be some circumstances or some individuals we will be averse towards. So anger will arise, pushing others away from us, or circumstances away from us. Likewise, attachment to those that we believe will benefit, or circumstances or objects that will benefit oneself. Attachment arises, drawing towards oneself. So these arisals of the afflictions already creates karma, and then their expression, their expression often leads to negative karma. And this negative karma is what leads to a decline in both this life, and if it ripens in a propelling karma, a decline through to our future lives, through rebirth in the lower realms.
Dine zada rang chi sin ji wang ge ngang so rang chi sin yo ba ze di gi jian ji ne due cha ge kong zhuo ji nyong mo jian de ji san di do ngang zu ya an ji de zu nyong mo ba za de zu rang chi sin ga jian de nyong mo ba de yang si ge je gi go ro ba an dine zada ngang zu ji tar ba da tam ji kin bi go ba to ma to ba de ya to be tam ji tar bi yuan de na tam ji kin bi yuan de ge to ma to ba de ga ri kin je ba se rang chi sin ge sam lo de ge an du si ge 윤지 genji 한저기 안데되게 연된되게 라마토바 경라고 경라와를 와다 경라와래서 제가 제디기 교인다 제 개와 치매가 강아 안디마제 타바다 탐지키며 토비하게 땡이 대화 토비하게 아니 개와디 한저 라마토바디 라치진디기 제발에 제자다 라치진디 차상기다 그보군이 고래에서
The ignorance of self-grasping, as well as the grasping at oneself as dear, it's from this that our afflictions arise. All our afflictions come from this. And as long as one grasps at oneself as being self-existent, the afflictions will continue to follow. In fact, until one attains a liberation, the afflictions are likely or always in danger of arising. And the self-centered attitude is what will control us until we abandon it and give rise to the other cherishing mind. So therefore, until we abandon the self-cherishing attitude or the ignorance of self-grasping, we are always in danger of accumulating afflictions.
나중에 랑지 생게 삼로기 삼로시 teletene ana so kanga da gyuen karkar yobade di maje da dene manam chizu yinde kunyi shi sede da ma semje tamje ya digide dena sempige jambada semje tam dunga da jaw go sempige da ingje jamjege samlodi da shenje ba semplo 디 안에 연대 탐지기 군이 시리 연대 탐지 최대다 개와 치마다 타바다 탐지 캠백이 탐지 연대 탐지 중요하기 시디 다디리에서.
The second line in the Tibetan, our final line, whilst cherishing my mothers, the foundation for all that is good. So this then, we go back in our meditation to the benefits of holding others as dear. So this is the mind that is the cause in this technique to generate love and compassion for others. Here we think about the tremendous benefits that will come to ourselves and others in this and in future lives, both temporary benefits, so mundane benefits, as well as those of enlightenment, and all the virtuous benefits or qualities leading up to enlightenment.
엔자당 저기 연대 탐지기 시리에서 당한 저기 다두신을 가서 라바르 삼다면은 제자다 셴리 디기 주나 삼바다 셴이 동화 세고도 삼베가 삼로딩한 저기 딩기디나 삼로날 순야면 여바 지기 여바이나 내내게 제바나 아 저기다 지기 소소 되사기 촉바로 지나다 코르유나라 미사지위네 안 델이야 안 셴리 미사지위네 라레 셴비게다 지그로바다 차살이야 안 디기 주나 삼베 삼로지다 나 동화 콘주 동화라 자고 삼베 삼로 줘바이나 안 데셀 콘주 지게 소소인 이네 지기 디네게 삼로 여바다 소소 잠지게 삼로 여바나 가르고 리그 말스네 네 가서 코르게야다 네 지금 요모 비리티 라신에 가는데 라 셴리에 채워지게 삼로다 지게 강아지에게 삼로 라신 아주 가루고는 소소 지부 소소 삼다면에 셈 가나라자 대나라 지지 용구여바다 안에 지게 안에 셴기네 소소라야 안지게 어디 미상부어를 미약부어를 소소리야 안에 나줘다 제와다 되네지야도 안에 소소이네 아직 로티보를 지원하디 당아주 충충으로 삼다나 되는 용고로 와 소소라랑이 개변 삼다we네.
We think just in a very simplistic way about the benefits that will come for oneself if one generates the attitude holding others as dear. We will have an impartial attitude towards all, no longer feeling close to just our family, our loved ones, or our group, but we'll feel in the same way we feel currently close to just some, we'll feel close to all beings, whomever they are, whatever our relationship is with them. We'll have a sincere, a genuine wish. May they experience only happiness. May their mind never be disturbed. May they experience no pain or suffering at all. And with such a genuine attitude of love and compassion, afflictions such as anger and harmful intent cannot arise. One cannot want harm to come to someone. One only wants their happiness, good to come to them. And therefore, with such an attitude, the way one interacts with others will be tender, kind and wise, always being sure to help them, to benefit them. And especially when it comes from a sincere attitude, because one will be consistent, others will trust you and respond in kind.
다 되네게 나 세대이네 세치마 삼다베네 당아주 소수라랑기 직세델리아 직샹레 제와다 젬비 삼로 제난 지주 샹레 채와마 제바다 뇽모 콘도마 제바 되니 심베네 소수기 레네 네 게위레 사고로다 디 게위레 사발레 데디네 안 제와치마이네야 아니 지기 덴주기 제와 토야다 안데 덴델레이나야 아주기 직디기요야게 디차고로와 디 마제다 아주기 잠니제데 되네게 슈크처 곰비가 누바처 따도 안당한 저가서 셴이 셴sem제 탐제기 동아디 세와다 디기주비에 탑람데 니 제고 선배게다 하산 남다즈 귤게야다 Dike balatine, and Simja Tamjiki Dondala is Sanjoko Matum Tabminu Simpi, Sanjoko Tower, Chicken Simpi, that Janju Simgulagia. Dine, the Chike Yamu Gia. Then the Janju Simgulagia, the Sanjoko Tovala, and the Panchen to win Yamlen Chehos, the Panchen to win Yamlenje. Then the Jabalatina, so Sanye, Sanjoko Toya. Chisa Dine Zada, Jamni Yamlen Cheba, Della Dine, Cetelina, Sosorangi. 소소랑을 삼다베네 소소랑이 디기요다 개와 치마이나 디기요다 안타바다 템지김베 고바 토야게 람냠는 제투야 투야 델레데는 산지고바 톱투야기 데띵게 되어 소소랑이네 띵게 되어 톱투야데 타르두 고바 톱투야데 아니 이 셴페 잔슈셈 셈다 잠인지 공발레데네 용고로 받아 다지사데 셴제 받은 물로디 연나 탐지기 중에 있어야 돼. 연나 소소를 삼다면은 연대 디스샤사 두시네. 셴제선 삼로 공발에 되는 용고로 와.
The final word in the English here for all that is good. This is usually translated as good qualities or virtuous qualities. So in the previous segment we looked at the good qualities that would follow in this life for oneself or generating the other cherishing attitude. And those benefits all accumulate virtuous karma. And this, when it ripens in our future lives, will ensure that we, firstly, will attain a good rebirth in a higher realm because of the virtuous karma accumulated from our generation of love and compassion that comes with the cultivation of holding others as dear. Then born into a good realm, a higher rebirth, we will naturally be inclined to help others, be inclined to work for their benefit, for their welfare, holding their needs first and foremost, because of the strength of the imprints that we have created in this life. With such a foundation, we will continue our spiritual development, accumulating vast stores of virtue, and with relative ease, develop the altruistic attitude of universal responsibility, and thereafter bodhicitta. Rising as a bodhisattva then, we will engage in the actual 6 perfections, accumulating the powerful causes that a bodhisattva generates in order to become a Buddha, to attain the omniscient state. All that will follow through the generation of the attitude that holds others as dear.
Onda di dusina rangla samdavene kevendeni siyobache, shenje chebazi samdene tukuoba. Da shenle sami shenle yenden jungta, ane digi jungta samdavene, tanga dejin sheba na shin, sosuke jambaze da, jam niji nyamne cheba yobana, ane sosuke mesachi ne, ane me sosuke desolya, ane jik kunzuye na semlia, ane jik kalangla diwuya da, ane sosuke jam niji yoba inza, sosuke gang tutuki, ane pando chea dan, zewa chea chea do, ane konzole pengu yoba. Ane di ma se, ane ngana zuke jiga sosuke jiga semba sangbo che yago chea che bala, tene ane konzole kanga seya da, dunga seya, tablam kane rangi nubi chope, kari chope, ane dine ke pando trupne, ane konzole labche kya, lobtun che, nyamlen che chuya da. And the next ane kanzam jiliya konzole digi yangayaki, dewa yangayaki, gyu sa juya, lobten che, dunga ki gyu nyomo badi bayaki, nyembo tablam ten nyamlen che chu, ten nyamlen che bala tene, konzole nyamlen che bala tene, ane che koransu gile ane, che jam niji gile kya dan, tene ane, che janshu sem gile kya, tene parchen chuki nyamlen che bala tene, ane tara sanjo koban toba da, tarbe koban toba, ane tene si, la kuituba yungurba dine za shenle dine shenine jige dine pamba kyachum le tutugo ba za jidan rada shen chasangi digi tuya de da dingi de nega bina da tar chime dewa digi na da tarbada tamji kimbe digi na jidan da shen je ba zime samlo dine tugo re sa ji da na du chen de za yunda tamji kunyi shi re sa ji.
The previous 2 segments that I mentioned about the benefits that will come to oneself in this and in future lives through generating the attitude that holds others as dear. And of course, through transforming our own mind due to our interdependent relationship with others, great benefit will come to others too. To the extent that we spiritually develop, we will bring ever more benefit into the lives of others. As we develop ever stronger love and compassion within us, merely meeting with us will ease the suffering of others. At the very least, being a loving and compassionate person, we will not add to their burden of suffering, but even more likely, due to our mere presence, their mind will soften, their heart will open. And through developing in this way close and tender relationships with others, they will be open to our advice and our guidance, because they will see us as an example worthy of following. In this way, they'll be receptive to our advice and our guidance. And in this way, they too will spiritually developing ever stronger good qualities and thereby weakening their afflictions. Like this, they're creating the causes for their own happiness, creating causes to become a bodhisattva themselves. So in this way, through our spiritual development, we will have a transformative, lasting impact on others, helping them experience temporary, mundane, worldly happiness, as well as creating the causes for ultimate happiness, the happiness that comes with the varying Dharma qualities that they will generate in their continuum, influenced by ourselves.
당고 있어라. 되네 제번에 소소라게 미소소라게 남주에 다 리버다 되니게 삼땅 토네 지랑 지진 삼로기 다 괜데데데 여러세다 시오지게 망아 하고야다. 신지진 연된데데 와서 연된데 연된데 지게 야고 망아 하고야지 다 소소기 삼나단단의 소수기 리버 남주에 토네 지 갸치슝 캐버만 모용구로와 데네도 삼다데 데텐산다 어다 랑치진 삼마데 괜레도 와서 데디 노트 침부 슈레샤 셈비게다 뭐냐랑 랑치 삼도기 괜지 통의 셈리아 딩리아 뒤견레샤 셈베 딩에바데 녀도 다 랑치 삼사데 괜이 계주에 민도아 셈비게다 다디디 게디나 계주에 민도 셈비게 도시네 파 삼다야다 현재바즈면서 어다데 연대사데 현재바즈면 삼마데 마세기 계침부 슈 자침부 슈레샤 데디데 지금아주 냠을 매진데 탑 민두스 선배가 삼다 되는 현재바지면 삼로데 안에야도 냠는 제기 다그 뒷발 마선다 당연히 뒷발마다 수식심부시 되도 거봐 지난주 교회나 연대 통지는 공배 온게 되네 공부할 때는 내용도 되네 현재생 잠니 잘내 잠바다 제외 삼로데 라신이 고 냠는 제야지 지금 연구 있어라 하다 곧 아주기 당보 디니 교회나 연대에 삼다 맞네.
Whilst I've just presented reasons for the faults of the self-cherishing mind and the benefits of the other cherishing mind in a very brief way, this is your starting point. It's up to you to reflect in the way that I've mentioned, but only as your starting point. Use your intelligence and go deeper. Use your intelligence and look deeply at the faults that the self-grasping attitude, the self-cherishing attitude has brought to you, and see the great benefits that would come through generating the attitude of holding others as dear. So the key point here is to use your intelligence. Don't just think superficially, because that will not lead to a transformation. What you need to do is develop a conviction, a deep inner conviction that I have to abandon grasping at my own wishes and rather be disciplined and place the needs of others before my own in every circumstance. And this comes about through you yourself using your intelligence and investigating repeatedly over a sustained period And to the extent you do so, a deep conviction will arise within you that I never again will allow the self-cherishing attitude to bring harm to myself or others. I will never allow it to dominate again. And there is no circumstance that I will not place the needs of others first and foremost. When this arises deep within, love and compassion will spontaneously arise. Merely hearing of someone or thinking of them, love and compassion will spontaneously arise. And every interaction with others, no matter whom they are, what they are doing or have done, love and compassion will spontaneously arise.
Shen chizin yunden dine de yorsa sammadana jigiduwa ne shen chizin da jamni ju gomna gomchene nyamni jeshan jigiduwa sammadana jamni ju gombayna chen gyula kyengure gyula kyane den ran chizin samlo ran ching do juguwas chesan ran chizin samlo yunden dine yorsa da shen chizin samlo yunden dine de yorsa dini sammadan bayne en madan je jamni ju gomchene jigiduwa sabige samlo yosigiruwa da.
It is possible that there may be those who have listened to this presentation over the last number of weeks and thought to themselves, I don't see why I really must reflect on the faults of grasping at oneself as dear and the benefits of holding others as dear. Surely I can just ignore this and meditate on love and compassion, because when I generate love and compassion, I will no longer hold myself as dear, because love and compassion is generated. I will hold others as dear. So I perhaps can just skip this.
And then again, some Hungary, you see very well. The Ineda, they got Rang chasing some Yuan, Shen chasing some Yuan, some Matan, Din Yuan, Yuan Gaya, Maton, you get that Jamni Jukom, the Yahore, some Jamni Jukomba ina, and Janjusim, Janim Gulkelia, Gale Habura Chagora, that does the Comwatch in the Ankale House on but I did show me to Simbig Shasha. I got a Yenden Toya Marva, Yenden Maton was a Dursi Gomnani, and then Jiggy Shasha sort of time. I just a Galena, that Shasha Sada. And then shall I pitch me to Pantomino Simbig, some not in Hungorva. The Nezadi, Yawashi to Timbu Yawaki to Galek Hawachi. Bendigo Zuge, Tirwate Bene, Jike. 칼라치네 지금 수보를 판도 전부 휴지 판도라고 지금 배 연된 지보다 판도 휴지 여바 있나 하고나 하고한 미치기 있네 디 칼라이스 디사헬이야 그디나 배전 전도진 사기로 봐 다지게 하 먹어 있나 지금 가브레직선 아다 신부민도서 이거 쉬어서 잔다 싸웠으면 배게 거 샤샤인 거로 지 어지 신부 여러디 판도 여러서 되어서 거제 판도 예비기 연된의 소속에 하 먹어 있나 판도 열서 직사가지 아다디 판도 민두디 수보 드라마 선사데 육셔서 샤샤니가 여러 와고 띵부차고 말 그래서 딱 가지래 현지진 삼로의 연대들 통제네 딘딘딘 연대 누세 연대 통바나 디 고매게 되니르기 듬바데 슈체리고래 디 되니 듬바 시체나 그디나 고매게려 뎌바데 라메바데 야세야실레데 자고 그 배주치할래 슈체치 두고래 진짜 랑 지진의 삼로 균디 연대 야고 통선나 디게할 파 가동 휴지기로 와다 진짜 균다 연대 통바지나 고 가리네 고 만어와다 마추바다 매 레갈 제반의 배준 dumdiye che tuye chagor ba bena nganzu lega roje garejo na dirwa da gyuen da jeta da gyuen da yunden di ha go tong na ani lega jeta di jeba na jel ya an dyoba dunya shukchel ya da kisi jebe ne ani jeta de yabo shin na lega de lela ha ji do na jup tu go ro adi nan ji ba ro da.
So there may well be those, due to their own imprint, that they do think like this. But that would be an error. If we don't think about the faults and the benefits of engaging in something, we are unlikely to engage in it. In our own daily life, if this were the case, we may end up doing what should be done because we're told to, we're made to, or there's social pressure to do so, but our heart wouldn't be in it. For example, if we've had good nutritional advice and we've told that a particular type of food or group of food is healthy and it will help one's body be healthy and one's life be long, one tries it because one has heard this good advice from a trusted source, but doesn't like the taste. One will know, one will understand, one will have a correct understanding, but merely through not liking the taste, can't be bothered. Or, it's too much work to cook, can't be bothered. Many excuses. And same with the converse, where you know that something is unhealthy and will harm one's body. And even if one doesn't see the results now, one will in the future. One knows this, correctly understands it, but one's mind has not been transformed by this knowledge. So therefore one continues to do what one wants, despite the harm that will come. So here too, just like in our daily life, we need to reflect deeply on the faults of grasping at oneself as dear, the tremendous benefits of holding others as dear. Because it's to the extent that one sees this, and not just comes to know it, because when these faults and benefits are mentioned, I'm sure you all understand and accept, it's not particularly difficult. But it has the mind been transformed. This is the difference between knowing something and realizing something. And in order to generate love and compassion of sufficient strength to generate for bodhicitta then to arise, one needs to go through these steps. One needs to think deeply, deeply on the faults of grasping at oneself as dear and the benefits of holding others as dear. Because it's only then that one will give rise to a transformative determination to guard one's mind and never come under the influence of a self-centered attitude. And with such an aspiration, such a determination, nothing will stop you from generating transformative love and compassion.
대치를 다신 지회 나줘라 세대다 대치를 세대 김전 당번이들이 지금 대치에서 랑제바 준비 지진율로들라 안지기 괜찮아 될때는 연구요바다 현제바 준비기 삼로 될때네 아니 지게 하나도 랑신이가 디기다 타바다 탐지기바 세대다 제와 치마 타바다 탐지기 고방 연된 차상 될때는 용투구요바디 또 심지치나 하고 봐 이제 하고에도 되네 인자다 다신 지회 나줘라서 다신 냠지기로 다다 랑제바 준비다 랑제진 삼모사데 자오기네 기죽며 삼백에 다 균에 다 랑제진 삼모사데 다 랑신 차상 강아제야다 두부녀야기 유디 고디 디슬리데 랑제 삼사데 균에 기죽며 삼백에 다 두치네 삼다야다 다 현재바지 멜로디다 연대 탐제 라신이가 디기 중에 탈바다 탐제 김배 고방 토백 차사다 현재바지 멜로디 리그데 전사다 현재바지 멜로디니 마곰데 탑면도 공기 선비게 디니게 삼다제 네 저게 현래 잠바다 제와 니디 고미야디다 두신의 제시도 같이 고미야시야 고미야디 두신의 공부를 지다 디르도와 지산다 다신 제와세도 랑제바 짐불로디 파 디니랑 아주 현야와 도요로다 랑제바 짐불로디 여바자 나파 제시네 현제바 짐불로네 아니 랑야와도와 현제바 현레 디기주베데 현유 동아세야다 디기주벨이야 나 깔레 가세케나 자기 나 경가르야나 깔레 가세케나 두부 가정연항의 지인 선배게 다 소탐제 땅거나 땅기 선배 삼다제 다 현제바 짐불로도 공부를 해서 지지다 다 두치네 삼다데 랑제바 짐불로디 야와 랑야와 되네 현제바 짐불로냐면 이제 두스 공부를 해서
Then coming to the third line in the Tibetan, which is for us the third line, the yoga of exchange of self for others. Here in this meditation, we first reflected again on the faults of cherishing oneself, and thereafter the great benefits of cherishing my mothers. And then the Tibetan comes to the word since, or therefore, the yoga of exchange of self for others. So in this third line comes about in dependence on these two prior meditations. And now it's the expression of our determination to be a practitioner of equalizing and exchanging self for others. Come to recognize that it's grasping at ourselves as dear, the self-centered attitude that has kept us bound, lost in these suffering realms of samsara. Now we have the strength of mind, the determination that with mindfulness and vigilance we will always guard our attitude and be sure that we never have the self-cherishing attitude as our guide, but we will guard against it from ever rearing its head. And rather, in all circumstances, we will ensure that we are guided by the attitude that holds others as dear. That no matter what circumstances we encounter, love and compassion alone will guide us. No response that is separated from love and compassion will be allowed to even arise in our mind. We develop this to the extent that we recognize that no matter the circumstances, no matter what circumstances I encounter, love and compassion is my only guide. And in this way, we can have confidence that no circumstance will ever pose any difficulty to us, even if it leads to our life ending, because love and compassion are our guide.
gomba gom suso gomya dirwada da dine gomne jela ya anaga nyamle nyingbo chebar jingilo sede da nyamle nyingbo da karesene da semje 탐적이나 상기 고마 토비 치도 chanju sem gi simbi thone nyamle jede da nyamle nane chodu gyuba nyingbo chago re 지나 dine chanju sem gyule gyala 만 잠니지 gyule gyechene toku yenza da nyamle nyingbo jam니지 gyule gyeche 안 chanju sem nyudu gyule gyeche 안 chanju dik nyamle je tuyalya 안 je tuyalya lam je nyamle je balya 안 lamigi jinyi labje jinyi labroji saji sungor wada nyamle nyingbo je bar jinyi lo da delya nyamle nyingbo chide nyamle nyingbo ajo nyamle je kabla jam니지 kunde chanju sem gyule gye chanju simbi simbi thone da giwe jawa karchebe nyamle nyingbo de je digi ne gombala tene devo sangye ko phande dewi nane choto gywe nyingbo de je jiza nyamle nyingbo jamni je chanju simbi simbi thone an nyamle de je tuyalya tarchimba je tuyayong je tubade lame jingi la roje di nyamle je bala tene devo nyingbo an choto gywe sangye ko phande 토이 톱투가 뉴르도 톱투기 라미 진이 라브로체 사데 도치네 라말야 도슈고 다진 진라 슈로 슈고로다.
The verse concludes with what we have as the first line. Please bless me to make my core practice. What we've come to in this third line, which is the culmination of the reflecting on the faults of grasping at oneself as dear and the benefits of holding others as dear, we need to meditate on again and again, repeatedly over a sustained period, so that it's not a mere expression of words, something superficial. It's not just a mere intellectual wish to become a person guided by love and compassion in all circumstances, but rather that this starts to arise within us in a way that is genuine and heartfelt. Then, when in the fourth line, we turn to our Lama with folded hands, and we request that the core of our practice, or the very heart of our practice, may be all these trainings that have at their very center the welfare of others. May this be our guiding light. May love and compassion and the welfare of others be our guiding light in all circumstances. So this verse culminates, turning to our Lama, requesting his blessings, his inspiration, so that we can generate the actual other-cherishing mind, and thereby generate transformative love and compassion, an actual bodhicitta, entering into the path of a bodhisattva and progressing to enlightenment.
Dine zada ngana zuge da danda nyingbo di karire labna nangbo ngana zuge rang chisin ki samlo di ane chige samlo dine chila rang chisin samlo dine chila gore sepi samlo ngoyo soya da ndela dine kyun karikare kar yunguyo ba karikare yunguyo ba di paa shimju samlo taya ane yaa chige shen cheba zimbe samlo dine yunden dine yunguyo ba karikare yunguyo ba di doos chine shimju che de samlo taya du ane gansam chiliya ane koi ngone rang chik gyön dine yunguyo ba de seba haa goya da yunden dine yunguyo ba de 세바 하고 요도 안 소소야 지게 초월 마선다 다 디디 방고도 셈베게 삼다 디디 공고 냠는 제고 셈베 삼로 실리고로와 데네레요도 다 데네레 디제라 안데 라치 삼로디라 방고도 셈베 삼로지 dimbaji ligiyo baza an digiye da raje samlo de gyuni ki chume sambe samdane da delya jambadan shijinni di ne tengu go da ka je nyamne garina ten shijinni da yena menaru shedo nga zulla jike jelya chesa 가르딘 거라서는 당연히 지금 직샬 되리나다 당연히 저기 파소조도 미치도이나 지산 소소야 기디네 시신디기 레가라 치도랑 치신 삼들리기 되면도 삼백이 지 젬백이 가 시신디기 파치 따오고 있어로 시신다 다 되네게 전시 라치 삼도 리기 요번 람산 젬백이 젬백 오다디 기준의 지금 말해서 람산 젬백 지힌제 니이디 진고고라다 가지 전시진이 된고고래 당연히 저번에 직 뒤와마 직 도지 뒤와지 현야 안직 로고체다 안직 돼서 지기여베나 남사 당할 섬나를 앵에디 직체베네 말야 코에 미디 야고 지금 배삼로 시라게 선배 삼로 남사 나즈라랑 지 삼로 지레게 냐가 요와 진짜 데니시도 직 지니기 레가로 지디가 베나 진짜 라치 삼도 리기 뒤미데 삼로 바 치신 삼다 리기 요번 남사 템베디 진짜 어디게 준 딕마레 셈베다 신삼다네 다 현지 삼로 디게 오르와 디디야 다 전시 된 고고래 제가 디네자다 남사 어들야 어디 현리 디기 주나 두고래 현리 판도 제나 이 펜베시도 이아 셈베 디니기 템베디기 현지 삼로 요 아텐주 라치 삼로 파가 제가 당한 좀 냠는 제데 전시진이 된제 도시는 대중한 저기 다 최세로 제베네 직다데 제사 라치진의 스쿨노들이 되면도 삼다 남사디 리그반 파 시진이 다제 하고 용도 전배가 안 될야 현재 받으면 삼도 전배파 전소 다지 전배도 현재 삼도 야 예주제 도시는 아주게다 당아지레 도시네 다 다세냠제 삼노곰 냠는 제세야디 랑 시진다 잠반이 송지유톤의 땡제 안에 라지 삼노디 기두에 민도스비 시진의 제바제 통용도 남산 템베파가 되네 템베 남산 현제바스며 삼르파 기주 전주제 야네 도시와데 냠는 나제디 도시의 남고에 서러당서 상아주디 제디 안지 전시진 마데마제 안지고 직 디니 삼샤이도 안데 다지게 레가르 카지나 라치스니 슈침보 야사야스 레도 가서 곰시 침보여 봐서 라치스니 레디고래 안시엔치스니 레투고 말와
The steps of this meditation should be quite clear. First, he reflects in detail on the faults of grasping at oneself as dear, thereafter, on the benefits of holding others as dear. And to the extent that one has repeatedly over a sustained period engaged in this meditation, a determination will arise within oneself that is unshakable and will ensure that at all times we are guided by love and compassion. A determination to only be guided by the attitude that holds others as dear. For this and any meditation that one engages in to be successful it's imperative to rely on the two close companions of vigilant introspection and mindfulness. These are the close companions of every meditator who is determined on transforming themselves. Mindfulness serves the purpose of firstly recalling the object, or we normally express it as holding the object, but it's recalling the object more literally, as well as, then introspection plays the role of being aware when the object is lost and reminding one. And then mindfulness plays its second part of recalling the object of meditation and perhaps why it has to be meditated on, so that one doesn't follow oneself down an afflicted path. So these two close companions of vigilant introspection and mindfulness are indispensable in a meditation session. Otherwise one will lose the object and not even know. Also, they are required so that one does recall the object and again engage with it. For example, if it's on the faults of grasping at oneself as dear, that one doesn't follow another distracted thought. But so too are these two mental factors indispensable for the meditator who is serious about transforming themselves. These two are also indispensable in between meditation sessions. So that if we take this illustration, but it's a case for whatever one meditates on, if when going about one's daily business, keep love and compassion dominant in your mind. And as soon as introspection notices that it's lost, and that almost certainly then the self-cherishing attitude has arisen, that one now is thinking about one's own welfare first and foremost. As soon as introspection is aware of this, mindfulness is required to regenerate love and compassion and recall these or hold these. And in this way then, one goes about one's interactions with others, one's daily duties, using vigilant introspection and mindfulness to ensure that we hold others as dear at all times. So it's independence on engaging in analytical meditation, deepening the reasons repeatedly over a sustained period, whilst making use of mindfulness and introspection in and out of meditation. That transformation will come.
Rangizin samlo to Kema Chökyi Gyaltsen Shijin Den, and Jik Jamni Jikuli Kichua dear, Shen Ten Shijin Den, and Judus in the Yane, Kumba, Neko, Dine, Lotipa, Jangche, and the Yansi Jik, that Jamni Jikina Yansi Ki Tuya de Jigungorwa, Dine Zadanga. Dine Jewar, Dine, Dangazuki, Komshidi, Yamane, Meba in Zang. Rangchi samlo de gomba de shu cheda che shen chi samlo de ji gomba de shu chung yin za ji ge an ji namye de ba shu chemo che je an jen shi jin de ma to ba je an de ni nyamne ya bo chi yong ma de ba de ga zo du sha ro ba da ina ya da ga zo gi da nyema na ga zo gi da rangchi sin se da ha gu gu ma shen chi da ha gu gu ma da ji da samlo na le ya rangchi samlo shen chi samlo den ji yue ba de ma zo ha gu gu ma le 근데 하 먹어 완자 아니 그 가지고 지금 해봐 써야 다 지금 냠는 제야 돼 하 먹어 와 되는 하소로 와 당한 저 제가 주기 다 지게 라마라 되네 아 주기 최망보니 다랑 제제 되는 시 견디는 데 연구를 현지 되는 데 견디는 연구에서 연된되는 데 연구에서 배도스네 지금 마 송제라 다 갈로 망보니 내려 되네 당한 주기 냠바드는 소수기네 소수기다 Just ranches in the kind of young to send get the Shimjura Chedu, ranches in Yoba Hagawat, Deletene, and a chicken, Yomo Barawaki Yobating as a Hagoturua. She's not a Shen Jebas in Bishana, the Jamba, the Jeva, some Joban, Deletene, and the Pando de Young Baraparapating as a Hagoturua. The name is a Dana Julia. 디밀 마선다 가줄 직고체 디밀 마선 충주지 라차반자 안데네자 아주 도체네 심주 체제 냠는 제알이야 베주셔와데 가서 차상 다지 도체네 제고로와다 디밀 umhade koche Dimitri wajida Dimitri na azu de jam je chike ran chizing kyuen ro da ane shenji yende ro je de sa wu ro da.
What I'm presenting here is the key to transform your mind. So there are a number of steps that one has to engage in. All of them are crucial. To the extent that one applies oneself to these steps, to that extent, transformation will come quickly or over lifetimes. Because whilst either the different topics in the text or the steps in a meditation are presented as a sequence and should be engaged in as a sequence, they are all interdependent. They are all interlinked. So, taking as an example what we're looking at here, but it applies throughout the whole Lama presentation. As one quality grows, this has an impact on the other good qualities we are trying to grow. So, for example, as one meditates on the first step, in this meditation, the faults of grasping at oneself as dear, using analytical meditation, and seeing those faults ever more clearly because one is using analysis and doing so repeatedly over a sustained period. One's determination to no longer be controlled by the self-centered attitude grows, and therefore one's determination to be mindful and to use introspection will grow. And as the determination to no longer be under the control of the self-centered mind grows, as does our mindfulness and introspection, this will have an impact on how we engage in our daily life, because we will be on guard to an ever-growing degree for the self-centered attitude. And in conjunction with this, wanting to abandon a harmful way of thinking, we will want to adopt the wholesome way of thinking. So again, as our determination grows to not be under the influence or the control of the self-centered attitude, our determination to be under the influence of the other cherishing mind grows. And here, with our meditation on those benefits, using analysis repeatedly over a sustained period, this will grow. So we have our determination to hold others as dear growing as our determination to abandon the self-centered attitude grows. And as these virtuous minds are growing, so too is our determination to watch our mind. No matter what we are doing, whatever activities in the day, in and out of meditation, at all times, whether we are alone or with others, whether we're sitting quietly or engaged in activity, our determination will grow to guard our mind, to not come under the influence of a harmful attitude. So here, there are these key steps here, continuing to gather ever more information, even where one is hearing it again and again, and reflect on it as one is hearing on it in meditation, keep it in mind out of meditation through utilizing mindfulness and vigilant introspection. So what's required here is this consistency. Not sporadic effort, but consistent effort. Because as one's determination to transform oneself grows, it becomes ever easier to hear teachings with mindfulness and introspection, and to apply them with mindfulness and introspection. And this way, slowly, the coarser levels of our afflictions will dissipate, and our virtuous minds will proportionally grow in strength. And this will give us ever more confidence that change is possible for me in this lifetime. It's not just about seeds and imprints for the future. I can become the person I long to be in this life. So here in these segments, I've laid out hopefully clearly this technique, which is the key for transforming your mind.
Delia, Yamlin Nimbo Shepherd, Jingi Love, Sida, Jingi Lamalia, Jingi Lami Jingi Labroche, Sidu, Danga Zugi to Chine Tambo, Diner, Dashin Yamje, de Com, Tevichella, Lamalia, and the Jingi Labroche, so at the Danga Zugi Lama Chöpa, Yamlin JB, Kaplina, that jig, that it is Soshin Sa, Tapje, Lama Chöpa, Yamlin JB, Kaplina, Jingi Labroche, Lamati, that Lama Soshin Sa, the Soshin. Lama Chasanlia, Lama Chasangi, Jingi Labroche, Lama Soshingi Tiki, Rangdun, also Yoba, Chick, Monsum Yoba, Di, Jingi Labroche, Shu Yoba, and Jewel Sundua, and the Denis, Ya Lama Sodip Chebal, Lamiki, and Jima. Antugane research Chilapshu, Sosolia, Lucius on Shunian, Sosugi, and Yamlingi Rimbatike, and Chick Timbo de Yapuch Kies on Sempiki Babachiada, Denichi Ore said the Sungduadin.
Also, just to remind you of our context, and that is, we're in the Lama Chöpa practice, so before us is visualized a Lama within the merit fields and in a pure land. So we bring this throughout, this awareness of the presence of our Lama throughout this meditation, knowing that his omniscient consciousness is completely aware of our endeavors here. And feeling his presence, being aware of his presence, open your heart and make these requests as if one was directly before him, because his omniscient consciousness is directly there. Be aware of his presence. Open your heart to his blessings with a sincere request that we develop, that we are successful in our endeavors in the equalizing and exchanging self with others.
Ranchi Sengi, Samlo Yuan, Shenji, Samlo Yuan Tong, Dene, Ranchis, the Samlo Kuni Kichume, Sambe Samda, Shenji, but the Sadi, Kungi, Sempike, Dumba Shusha Kene, Dene Shalia, Chik, Jamze Com, Nichikom, Nekombeke, and Tama Lamalia, Rangi Lama, then Da Sange, and Wo Yemechine, and Lamia, Rangi Tulia. Yoba Mabachena, Lamalia, and Tening Yam Tarchibo, Lamichi, Labroche, Sajan, Lamalia, so the Jungurwa.
This meditation, or this final, and it's better, it's always the last line, requesting blessings, is something that is done at each step in the meditation as is abundantly clear. And in this case, it's seeking his inspiration and his guidance, certainly in the meditation, but throughout our lives, that we manage to abandon the self-centered attitude that we are so habituated to and develop the other cherishing attitude just like he has. And develop great love and great compassion just like he has.
Chizada sim yonganzul mogoy sim gyön yongye gü yongye sim dingan ba de ma xing bei gyön dige sim ma meba suya da sim ge ma ju ya ji pa ga ya da sim sang bu nyam de pando yoge sim di ge ya ne ya do sam ya ne ya do sam de sam da ji sam da de do ju gom se ne sa ne de sam da de ji da zhen ba de xi xin dian ji ko ya ne ya do sam da de ji da ya ne ya do sam da de din ko ge din da di ji ge Semlia Letungarocha, and the Jig Sim Nyomomberiti, Gedina, Chiki, the Paki, Majo, and the Gazam Julia, called Gune, Game about a chat, you can see. She's a Dinichi, Yamling Rimbadi, Yamlin said, and the Dundar Nibo Dinichi, the water, Chick. She's a Dinik Nyomoberiti, Paki, Majo, Gazam Julia, 기디나 가도 그 가슴지도 그 개비 그 누버도 충주도 개매바 차로 그러와 다 잠닌지당 다음에 또 베시라세야 다 자주 셈세 셈니 야네 야도 삼다고 집에네 누벌 마선데 체 루고로 와다 제가 디네서 그 야도 삼단 제 남산 셈리야 대용화서 차도고로 와다 제가 당은 저기 셈기도 곰 접세야 냠는 제세야 돼 곰이야 되로 와다 디 전시 전바다 시신이 된지 곰이야 되리도 와
I want to again encourage you to continue in these meditations, because if one does so in the way that I've been presented here, transformation will come. We've been greatly habituated to the afflictions, in particular the self-centered attitude. To break this habituation will require concerted effort, but over a sustained period. So therefore, do not despair, do not give up, do not think that anything is beyond you. Utilize well what remains of this life. Because the training of the Lamrim, we can summarize each section, each section is meditated on in the same way, reflecting on the faults of not transforming one's mind in a particular way and the benefits of transforming in a particular way. And one engages in that meditation with the companions of vigilant introspection and mindfulness. And one engages in this meditation repeatedly over a sustained period. So that we do with every topic in the Lamrim. And as one topic is strengthened due to interdependence, it has an impact on the next meditation. What we are trying to do with every topic in the Lamrim is become ever more habituated to a way of thinking that is in accordance with conventional and ultimate reality. And certainly at the level of meditation that we are at here, that would be expressed as to become less habituated to the afflictions and more habituated to wholesome minds, such as love, compassion, wisdom, and so forth. So this is the way that we train our mind through every step of the Lamrim. Hence, the word for meditation is, as synonyms, habituation or familiarization. Habituating the mind to a wholesome way of thinking, breaking the habituation to an unwholesome way of thinking. That is the meaning of Buddhist practice or Buddhist training. This is the meaning. So if you are engaging in Buddhist practice, that practice should be strengthening your habituation to wholesome ways of thinking, breaking your habituation to unwholesome ways of thinking. That is the meaning of Buddhist practice. It is training the mind.
Ganis gomnang ganis gom kare gomya de kare gomja ganis gomna kare se sina ga pangja de kare mewa so kare se di ha go ko sina di ha mo go wala gom se da mewa so se di kale ha go wa sina dini enza da nga ji tue ba da samba gomba se di ji ge chi mo ji dang bo nga ji ni su di ji ge tue go go wa de tue sin dini dini da rang jin se dini shen ji sam de yo re se ji dang bo tue dine tøne ande de gyön dine yönde dine göre sam tø yodu andigala an sosurangi simju she samna sta de raj jesin sam dane kare syungudu jenje sam de kare syungu se begida gyön yönde de pa samnon ma jeba je sam da de gyön ba de tong jenje sam yönde ba tong je da tong yodu dan ko sambegi hago zorwa de go de da dine shine ko den je ran ka se jamba da shijin denje shenji samlo de 양에 누바 쳐다 고미야다 되네 장치 삼도디 마 기디네 게 맞춰져 가야 돼. 다 곰세야 되디. 제사 텨봐 삼바 곰바서 튀었음 곰숨세야 돼. 다는 저기 남비게 냠는 체게 조로다 디 유나면나시 튀었음 곰숨식으로 와 제사 튀었음 텨봐 삼바다 돼서 야마라와 지고리 해야지. 제사 텨봐 유네면에 곰야디 삼바나 텨봐 맨나 곰디 야고용 통 말해서다. 제사 아직 Chopa Sambochi, some Chopa, some not Namine, Magom ne Yaki Tumare says. Chizada, Togure, some Gures, the Gom Gures Yaki Troll, Chizada Gures. Chiza Gombala, Chopa, Matyoba, some time in didn't go Mayum Mares. Chizan, Chopa the Gombati, she would get him said this more about that. The read or in Bashes to do against something that Rapara was something that one year inside something do it.
Then, in addition to presenting the verse tonight, I've given you a meditation guidance, how to be successful in your meditation. And a further point to make in this is that for meditation to be successful, as I've said before, one needs to engage in analysis. But in order to engage in analysis, one requires knowledge. So therefore, the foundation is knowledge. One needs to know, for example, what and why certain minds cause harm and therefore need to be abandoned, and what minds and why are to be adopted because they are wholesome. This knowledge has to be gained. This is the first step, hearing. But it's accompanied with reflecting. So one needs to continue to hear, to gather knowledge, and whilst one gathers knowledge, reflect on this. And in dependence on how well one has heard and reflected, one's meditation will go well. So in this summation of hearing, reflecting, and meditating, meditation here refers to single-pointed meditation, kind of union of calm abiding and meditative insight. And reflection is what the kind of meditation we generally do. But it includes hearing this teaching now, and whilst you're hearing it, reflecting on its meaning, as well as what you do on your meditation cushion at home and in your daily life, thinking, reflecting, analyzing. And independence on the quality of our hearing and reflecting, how much knowledge and depth we've gained and how well we've thought about it. Our meditation, that of union of calm abiding and meditative insight, will be successful. Without this foundation, it will not be. So in the instance here, one needs to hear and read and hear on the faults of the self-centered attitude, the benefits of cherishing others. Whilst one is doing so, think about this. See it as true for oneself. Give rise to a transformative understanding, a realization. And then one will be progressing towards where one can actually engage in meditation on this topic. So that's the final key point to make in this meditation guidance. So thank you very much. Then we'll conclude there for tonight. Thank you so much.